Teenage rebellion. We know all about it, right? Let me tell you how I rebelled. I was 145 pounds, went to church every Sunday, was a big theater kid in school, supposed to go to college. I did something completely radical. I joined the Army. My counselors, my teachers, all the people at church, my parents, very upset. They said, this is the dumbest thing you'll ever do. And I was completely cocksure, like, oh no, this is gonna be awesome. This is just gonna be great. And I don't have to go to college now, because I had a lot of anxiety about going to college and how it would be paid for and all of that stuff. And that summer after I graduated from high school, I about July 25th, 1984, not that I remember anything exact about it, I joined the Army. I went in, and about, I would say, maybe 5 or 10 minutes after like swearing in and signing the papers, I realized this was a huge mistake. This was just the most gigantic mistake. And there was just one, it was just like one cascading incident after another that just reinforced to me that it was a horrific mistake. And it was things like the crazy logic of the military. Like, the punishment for leaving your locker unlocked was greater than the punishment for actually stealing something from somebody else for leaving the locker unlocked. I never quite understood that. And of course, then there was this awesome medical care and their whole like thing they had going on with that. And one day in basic training, this was within 2-3 weeks of getting there, I'm running down the road, everything I own on my back. I put my foot in a rut in the ground, and I fall over, and my foot doesn't. And my ankle makes a loud enough pop that the whole platoon turns around, and I scream. The whole platoon turned around and looked at me and said, "What's wrong with him?" Because here's one of the things you learn right away in the Army, and this is one of the other things that made it completely stupid, was if you have an injury, it's because you are a homosexual communist. It's not the words they use necessarily, and you are a traitor and you hate all your buddies. That's the only reason that would ever happen. So they threw me, like literally threw me in the back of a truck like an animal carcass, and like bandaged my ankle up, and I was back right on that march like an hour later. And that's how that went. And then there was this other time, ingrown toenail. They took it out without anesthetic because, you know, that's for communist, homosexual traitors as well. So it was just one thing after another like that, and I was miserable. I was absolutely miserable. So I figured out the best thing I could possibly do to relieve my misery was, and here I was like 18 years old, was to get married. Like, awesome idea, because in my little 18-year-old mind, I'm thinking, like, I won't have to live in the barracks with these goons anymore, and I'll be relieved of all that. And of course, when you're married, and you know, it's 18-year-old brain here, you get to have sex all the time, and it's going to be awesome. There's like literally no downsides. Get paid more, don't live in the barracks, have sex all the time. It's going to be awesome. Let me tell you, the next 4 years of my life, it was horrible. The Army was horrible. More horrible things happen all the time. Being married to a teenage girl, no offense to teenage girls, they are what they are. They're lovely things. You just don't get married to one. It's not a good idea. It's not a good thing. And I was stationed in Louisiana, and of course everybody, you know, like immediately, whatever Louisiana people could tell, oh my God, he's a Yankee. Oh, he's horrible. And then I got to Germany, and it's like the Germans were all like, and I think this has come up here on this stage before. The Germans like, he's so stupid, he can barely speak German. Oh my God, he's an American GI. It was just miserable, and I never had any money. And here I was living in Europe, and it was like just scraping by. Didn't have any money. Had this horrible marriage, and it was awful. And then I got out of the Army, and I still didn't have any money. And I was even after I got out of the Army, like, I hated that I made this decision. I just hated it. And then things kind of turned around one day. I enrolled at a university, and at Purdue University, Indiana. That's where I'm from. And I used my GI Bill, and I felt like such an idiot in the classes because I was older than the other kids, and they were kids, and here I'd had this experience and with the military. And finally one day, this English professor noticed I could do something really well. She noticed I could yell really well. And she also noticed I could organize things. So she said, I need you to come and work in my writing lab. And that's when the sun came out. And life changed. And I went to work, actually went to work for the university. They paid for me all the way through graduate school, which was awesome. And it was at that moment I stopped hating it. I stopped hating that I was in the Army, and I realized maybe it wasn't such a big mistake after all. So there's my story. Be careful if you join the Army, and above all, be careful if you marry any teenage girls. See you later.